Well, hello, hi, it is me, it is I, Small Town Didi, your Khadi on the internet, and I am back, we're back, darlings. Thank you so much for joining me yet again. If it's your first time, welcome. We are down here, up on here, the internet today to review the Real Housewives of Durban. The Real Housewives of Durban, episode 6, season 3. You guys are not gonna believe this. If you come down here for the Real Housewives of Durban reviews, then you know who my faves are and stuff. But me, I can change my mind and it's fine. Nonko had a lot of screen time this episode, but all her scenes were good. I enjoyed her. I even liked the scene she had with her mom. Y'all know I find them insufferable, but I actually enjoyed the scene with her mom, and we're gonna get straight into it. I usually watch it and make notes and record right after, because then it's still, so I made my notes yesterday because I thought I was gonna get time to sit down yesterday, so I'll be looking down a lot more for my notes now because it's not fresh in my mind. Nonko links up with Sia, or rather Sia comes over to Nonko's home. I think he is her life coach or a therapist, something of that nature. He comes over, they sit down to have a chat about what's been happening. We also saw him in the previous episode, and they get to talking about, you guys, I'm proud and confused about Nonko. Proud of her because she's making a lot of sense in this scene, mostly throughout the episode, really. But her actions in the previous episode have me feeling like there's a contradiction here. Sia's asking how's it going with Scara, that's her man. If D is whatever, she calls him by his initials, and I don't because he's Scar. If you us here on the channel know Scara. So if you're new, he looks like Scar from The Lion King. That's what the people said. I'm the people. Okay, great. They talk about Scara, and she says that she seems to have some reservations, and he bought her a car earlier on in the season when it just started, when their relationship was 3.5 minutes old. He got her a car, and Sia's asking, where is this car? Remember, I've been asking you guys, I've been asking, where's the motor? Where is this car? We are not ever seeing the car. Some of you must have just thought I'm such a hating ass bitch, which I am. But in this case, I wasn't being that. I was really it makes no sense that we got to see this car on gifting, but hey, there's no car. And then but Nonko tells Sia that no, I told him that he needs to drive the car that he bought, and I will drive the car that I already had. She seems to also be rolling around in a U-whip. Why am I so old? I barely slept. I'm why am I so tired? Guys, don't let them lie to you about coffee. Don't. This is weird to me because she's still portraying it, but all women do this. When women are booed up, they behave funny like this. To the outside world, oh yes, he got me a car. People are still chatting about it. And at no point does she say to the chatter, oh, I've decided that it's too soon and I'm not driving it. But the reason she says she gave back the car to Sia, this is very bright. We learned in season 1 that Nonko had come from an abusive relationship, and her mom seems to have had the same kind of relationship with her dad, with Nonko's dad. Her parents are no longer together though. But there was turmoil there, allegedly. These ladies told us in the first season. We learned these things about them. So from that experience, she's very, very apprehensive. She has her reservations, which is odd to me. If you have these reservations, why are you introducing this man to your kids? If it's too early for you to feel like you don't want to accept this huge gift and you're uncomfortable and you're still trying to suss things out, why bring him into your life and introduce your kids for camera time? I can't get past that. But she says she gave the car back because she feels like she doesn't want a man using things to control her. She's been in those environments, and even things like getting physical. She's she's almost waiting for the shoe to drop. She's come from an experience of being treated so bad, and then went through that phase of just working on herself and being celibate and spending time with herself. And unlearning and learning new things, so much so that the word is not damaged, but like she's scarred from having gone through what she's gone through. So in this new situation where he's being nice to her, where he's being caring, and he's not being like violent with her in any way, especially physically, she's just antsy. It feels like impending doom for her, like it's looming, like when is it gonna come? It must come, because that your brain is now programmed to be on high alert, and that's what abuse does, right? You can't just take things at face value. And in terms of Scara, I don't like that she goes through life experiencing this, but I think she needs to pay attention to that inert thing, that those reservations. She needs to take them seriously and keep her guard up and her wall up as long as it needs to stay up. A man needs to earn his way into your space like that. He just must. This whole, oh, don't punish him for the other person's thing, then like, it means you learn nothing. Like, I'm not mad at her for it's like they pace too quickly, and then they want to like walk it back, and then they want to walk it back, and I don't know. But anyway, that's what we learned. She says she's scared. She's scared that it's not real, that it's gonna end. That was kind of sad. Love is a scary thing. That's something about me that I don't know if I've ever said on this channel, that I don't want to fall in love because it's just too much. Yeah, I did it when I was much younger. The experience was actually very pleasant. Well, listen to me saying I did it like you apply and they accept you. No. It happened to me, and it was a very, very pleasant experience. Now that I'm older, I realize, I've done the math, that like being in love requires doing things that I no longer have the capacity for. I'm the old dog that you can't teach new tricks. It's me. It's me they're talking about. The idea of relinquishing, it feels like it's a power thing for me. Like, love is very much, power dynamics will always come into play in any kind of relationship when you find yourself in community, in a relationship with a person of any kind. But the romantic kind especially, I just feel like I will lose. I feel like I will lose more than I will ever gain. Like, the rewards of being in love, like when you think of it as an investment, your returns are, this is not a good investment. I am so sorry. So I understand what she's saying when she says she's scared. Like, she's scared to just go all in and be like, yeah, this is it. I can let my guard down and feel safe with this person and take it for what it is, and accept that this person just wants to love me and take care of me and stuff. Because I have learned with men that even if it starts off like this, the ugly side, which is really their default, will rear its ugly head sooner rather than later, and shit will fuck out. Because trust me, men are not to be trusted. Trust that thing that tells you not to trust this pig. Okay? Don't do it. Don't do it. I'm just saying. That's just me. JoJo and her husband. We're getting a lot of screen time with the husbands this season. Like, they're actively shooting scenes. They're not just like showing up and being at the dinner with other people. Like, we saw Addie have 2 scenes, I think, with her husband. One where she had the dinner with him, the at-home dinner that they had to keep the spark alive, and then the other where she was talking about her eye. Like, they are actively in scene. It's nice to see a lot of the home life going on. I love Real Housewives of Durban, guys. Like, the production on here is getting it so right. Great. JoJo and her man had gone out shopping, and as they're about to walk back in, Calvin then tells her, I'm getting his name right. Calvin then tells her, no, I've got a surprise for you, blah, blah, blah. You know, oh my God, guys, I love how he loves her. Like, it's so beautiful. JoJo coming into the season last season, I took to her. Like, she left a sour taste in my mouth with what she did to Mabusi at the last episode when she threw a drink on her. But when she came in, she looked like such a fun girl, just such a Barbie. A man who adores her, just wants to take care of her. Another one, her and Nonko actually found their friendship in this space, I believe, to a degree. I'm not saying the entire thing is founded on that, but she's another one who's also endured a lot of abuse in a previous relationship. So it's good to see a woman get to a space where she's not just being loved and spoiled, but she's in a space where she can receive it. You know, she's not this imposter thing of, really me, like he really wants to do this and take it. He really does. Like Calvin really does want to do this for you and take, because like you are everything. Like he sees you and it's making sense. And when you've been treated like trash, the same thing Nonko's going through, when you've been treated like trash before, when you get into a new situation, it's so hard to believe that this is genuine, that this person, it's like, what in the trickery? Like the jig is about to be up, like you're like this, like it's really bad. But anyway, they go in and he has like a setup for her. Then he gives her this one-of-a-kind ring that he saw that she really liked, and he got it for her. One-of-a-kind, darling. Okay, these are the kinds of men that get away with murder. I'm telling you, if I was JoJo, I don't give a shit what Calvin does. I would not care. I would not give a shit what he does. Do you understand what I'm saying? If this was the princess treatment I was getting, because it's the care as well, like how he actually cares for her outside of the gifting and all of those things. You just see the way he looks at her, like that's his JoJo. And I would really I'd look the other way. I'd look everywhere but where Kevin was doing bullshit. Like I'm just saying, right? Which is why I don't understand why some of you put up with your boyfriends who don't treat you like this. Outside of having the means to do for you and get you one-of-a-kind rings and stuff, they generally just don't treat you like a princess. Like basic opening doors, you know, making sure that you're okay, just seeing that you're not like feeling your best, and rubbing your feet, and taking your car to get washed, so that's one less thing for you to think about, and bringing it back with petrol. Basic shit. Y'all don't even get that, but you still be looking every which way but here, where Tabang is playing in your fucking face. Could never be me, you see. No. You have to incentivize me to look everywhere but at the bullshit. That's what I'm saying. Okay, Slee's sister comes over to Slee's, beautiful women. They sit down, they talk. I have a problem with Slee's story because I don't know what she's saying. Into the crush, right? She's my faves. Like, I've got the biggest crush on her. I think she's so beautiful. I think she's grown. She's such a matured woman. Like, her energy radiates for me through screen, and it's like I get her. I get what she's portraying, rather, not her. I don't know her. But Slee mentioned quite early on, I think when she came on, that there's a 6-year gap like in her parenting, where she got married to this man who is the something of something. He's a well-known, well-off somebody, not just in Durban, but like he's an influential somebody. She married this man. Her girls, she has 2 girls, are from the marriage or the marriage. They were married before the second marriage, right? So for a gap of 6 years, she wasn't in her kids' lives. She's talking to her sister saying, you know, and her sister's like, what are you doing to make up for it? Just you feel bad. And she's like, what's getting to me is knowing that I can't make up for that lost time. Like, there's literally nothing I can do to make up for that period, and that kind of sucks, you know? And she cries about it, and her sister comforts her and stuff. She then explains, I don't want people to think that I abandoned my kids, or I don't want them, rather, her kids, to feel that I abandoned them. But like, I feel like you did. This is what I'm saying. The story is not making sense. And when I'm trying to understand, she's not saying things explicitly, and it's frustrating to me. It's like, what were you trying to do? Because if I am to piece together what you're saying, it seems like time got away from you. I don't see how 6 years gets away from you, especially in terms of you being a mom. Not judging, just but I don't see how, right? I can see you accounting for it. She accounts for it to a degree, but it's half-assed in that I don't hear what she's saying. She says, I think she's trying to situate herself in this man's life, and whatever influence he has to amass or by proximity, have the same kind of influence, the same kind of ability to maneuver, such that it would make life simpler for her girls. You know, when you marry into wealth and you take on that last name and it has some equity, when you walk into a room and you say, I am a Motsepe or whatever, people look up, and maybe you're hoping that could trickle down and make life easier for your girls, make navigating these waters easier for your girls, or you'd eventually bring them into the fray. You see, I'm having to make it up for her because I don't know what your real reason is. Was your new partner not interested in co-parenting or raising another man's children? Was your ex-husband, the first one, the father to these girls, not willing to have another man? I want those details. I don't actually understand. They seem to have a good relationship, her and the father to these kids. She actually says the kids are with their dad at the time that she's sitting down with her sister and stuff. So I'm trying to understand, because I know of, if you are a prideful African man, especially if you have the means, you're not going to allow some man who's even doing maybe a lot better than you to come into the lives of your daughters and be the main influence in their lives. Like, you are not going to allow that. You're going to say, these are my kids. I'd married you. These are mine. If you are leaving to start your own life, the kids are staying with me. I need these details. This is all over the place for me. Like, I don't know what's going on here. Okay, great. Vivian Sarisha, again, the husband, screen time. I never thought would get like proper screen time with Viv. Like, Viv don't need this little change. This little coins. No, he does not know. I don't believe. Hello? Malls and shit. You guys, I need to be quick. I'm really spending too long on these points and they're not that long. Vivian Sarisha gets to sit. The pugs are in the mix and then they send them out. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's just like the pugs don't know Viv. I wasn't gonna mention the pugs, guys. But Viv, like, is away so much that the pugs don't treat him like a guest. Like, they don't take his ass seriously. He tried to get them out of the room and they just looked at him like, who you is? Like, who do you even think you are, sir? Like, I know you think this is your... Like, the pugs literally looked at him like he's crazy. That's right. This man is never home. The pugs don't know you. Okay. The pugs don't... Everybody else in the house, they don't know your ass. They sit down and Sarisha broaches the conversation around Viv being more present, and she's like, you know what? I thought that when all these projects settle, the oceans, more this, that, and the other, that we would finally get to have family times. I need you to spend time with your kids. They're getting older. You need to forge those bonds, create those memories for us and for them. And Viv is like, well, he's always wanted to start an international project. See what the pugs don't know him. He's always wanted to start an international project, and there's an opportunity in Dubai. He's packing, mind you, for a trip. And the scene, I love it. And then this is the thing about marrying a man of this stature, this caliber, a man who's like in the space. You guys, those of the hypergamous girlies, get a surgeon. He never there. He is never there. So if your love language and things are like spending quality time and stuff, I don't know what to tell you. Get you some pugs, girl. I don't know what to tell you. It's not gonna happen. So Viv then says, okay, he's going to clear Fridays and make sure that Fridays are the days they spend with the kids. They'll fetch them from school. They'll do like lunch or dinner and blah blah blah. I don't know. And then Sarisha's like, I'm gonna need that in writing. Like, I'm really gonna need that in writing because of wow, hey. But anyway, we move. Nonko and her daughter Notiga go for a little spa date over at Sobe. Something in the scene just made me feel like Nonko walked in looking beautiful, hair perfect. Why was that lady standing over her Tonging. What are you tonging? She walked in tonged. She stepped into the scene looking bomb already. She walked in looking already done, so I don't know why that lady was throwing, but they're doing their nails, they're sitting down. I love this. Treat your daughters. If you have the means, and even if you don't, create the means around home. This prevents people's dusty ass, musty, broke down, don't have shit going on sons. This prevents those dudes from walking into your young, impressionable girl's life and giving her like money for nails, and then her feeling like, oh my god, like nail money. Like, if this is something she's already used to, if she's a girl who likes to do her nails, or a child who just loves to do their nails, it's not gonna be this novelty like, oh, this guy undisa manala or whatever. The stuff is important, guys. Children need to get, especially girls, need to get used to being pampered and treated well, not only to maintain that standard for people who enter into their lives, but also to not like be swayed by it. Like, guys, some of you actually unfortunately guys, yo guys, some amount that didn't make sense for nails. I remember telling my mom about it, and she's like, can we talk Noko, like, oh yeah, first of all, it is shorter, like I couldn't do my toes. You guys have no idea how much that amount upset me. Like, it upsets me to this day, because I have my own standards for me. It's like, don't say, oh, I just want to do something for you, and I hear you've been complaining about your nails and stuff, so let me do your nails for you. I didn't even fucking ask you. I didn't ask you. I get rose tauba. I get toga. Like, like, what in the hell? Like, babe, how many bricks of butter can I even buy with this? Like, ugh. Anyway, that was me. Anyway, they sit down in the scene, they're having a chat over at the sorbet, and they're talking about the singing and stuff, because Notiga Sings, we learned this about her in the first season already, and she's like to her mom, you know, she's clearly struggling with her confidence around her talent and stuff, and she's like, I feel like people already expect me to be like a Beyonce or to sound like her or whatever, and blah blah blah. And you know, that really hurt, like, broke her mom. Mom's like, no, you're you, like, I don't want you to be anybody else. I understand what she's saying though. It's like Beyonce after MJ is the greatest performer of all time, right? That's the bar. And I feel like we do people such an injustice, even the young girls in the Normalis, the whatever, they're navigating, they're trying to find their signature sounds, trying to experiment, because that's what music is, that's what art is, and we don't give them room, right? We're already comparing them to somebody who's been in this game, right? Who's had ridiculous amounts of resources poured into her to meet her work ethic. That is not to take away from how hard Beyonce works, or her this or her that, but her aesthetic, right, and her work ethic, plus the resources that have been poured into her, have allowed her to become the performer that we know her to be over time, right? Over time. And that she was never like mediocre. She was always giving the best she could, but it's gotten better with the years. And we need to encourage a lot of that, not like meet people who are starting out wanting them to already be like Aretha, like Patti LaBelle. Like, calm down. Patti had to sing in the church at some point. Like, the fuck? Anyway, she also says that she read her diary. I am conflicted about this. I loved this scene, you guys. I am conflicted about this because it feels like Notiga is not confiding in her as much, and her mom is scared. Obviously, I'm like, yeah, that's her thing. And then she even goes, I didn't invade your privacy. Girl, you did. Like, you did that. You did. And maybe with good reason. I'm like, oh, don't read her diary. But at the same time, she's a mom who feels like her child is pulling away from her. She wants to know if her child is hurting, what's going on. And bringing your child into this situation outside of teaching them what to expect, what kind of treatment, outside of trying to remove the novelty around getting things like your nails done and stuff and just making it a thing that we do so they're not so jarred by it. It also brings their guard down. When I'm doing my niece's hair, we're very relaxed. I can ask her questions that if I were to ask her just randomly, she might not feel comfortable to answer. It does let their guard down because it's like girl time, we're chilling or whatever. And I suppose in this space is where even Nonko felt safe enough to tell her child that I've done this thing. You know, I read your diary and stuff. And it feels like, so she's asking her, do you like any boys right now? And she's like, no, I don't like anybody. So she's like, okay, do you like anybody? Like, she's trying to figure out, maybe is it girls you like do you like anybody? And Natila's like, no, I don't really date. I was a lot like this. I didn't date all throughout my teens. It didn't make sense to me. I'm very conflicted about dating in your teens. I feel like it fucks with you. I feel like love and date, like the emotions that come with dealing with romantic situations, so heightened, so intense. So the idea that we are allowing, not really allowing, but even encouraging people who have their hormones doing this all the time to also engage in this behavior. I've had this chat with a good friend of mine that I feel like all my friends that dated young have been stuck in the same dating pattern because they started so young in their formative years, and the kind of boys they were dealing with very young, if they ever sat down with themselves and try to analyze things and sort of break off certain things, they tend to attract the same kind of person, date the same, and it's usually crappy because like all little boys are fuck boys, right? You're dating them, and any young boy that can get girls is probably an asshole, and they continue to date assholes. I've really picked up that pattern. Whereas everybody else who's considered a late bloomer in my life that took their time to learn themselves, to do the school stuff, to form their personalities, know their interests, know what they like, when they started dating, they almost started dating with intention. Because when you're young, there's no intention. There's just, I like him, he's cute, right? And then you get stuck in that. That's how you get, for me, I feel, that's how you get 30-year-olds dating a guy because, oh, this. Okay, girl. All right. JoJo host Annie. I don't know how this video is taking so long. I thought I'd be done by 20 minutes, guys. You are. JoJo host Annie. They come over, they're sitting down outside. These are parts of JoJo I don't like. These are the parts of her I don't like. They're sitting down, having a little picnic, just the two of them. No, she's not ambushing her with the likes of Nonko. I'm telling you. And then she then says to Annie, JoJo says to Annie, you know, when we were at my soiree, we sat down and you and I had a heart-to-heart after the ladies had left, and you spoke on your bullying, and I had something to share as well, but I didn't want to make your moment about me. This didn't make sense because the incident with Slee had not occurred. So that was literally the first episode. You and Slee had your altercation in the second or third episode. The second. How is it that at your soiree you wanted to share this? Okay, girl. But she says, because of how I've been isolated my whole life, this is JoJo now, and the treatment I've received from people growing up and stuff, I now find that I have a fear of being pushed out, and I feel like that's what's happening in the group, you know? You guys have known me for a bit longer, and I thought we were all friends, but you also readily took Slee's side. Nobody readily took Slee's side, not necessarily. People didn't like your approach. It was how you went up, but people sided with Slee over your approach, not over the actual argument, right? I don't think anybody is like, only now we're getting into the nitty-gritties of people saying, no, I actually believe Slee, I actually this. The main thing was, why is JoJo like yelling at that lady? People were not okay with your actions, and you wanted everybody to just rally behind you simply because you had formed relationships with these women. And this is what you and Nonko were essentially trying to do to Slee sort of like, I don't know, like hazing or like a humiliation ritual of sorts. It backfired, right? People didn't rally in the same way you threw a drink on Mabusi and nobody was on your fucking side, so then you had to walk it back. You always take it a step too far, and then it snowballs and it gets away from you, and then you want to wipe women tears ass and try to walk it back. These are parts of you I don't fucking dig. Like, I don't smack for this shit. Like, I don't know why she's like this. It's such white woman behavior. I don't get it. It's like she throws and hides her hands, and then she's all like, okay, let's just start over, because it's not going how you had calculated. Because in your head, the women know you, right? She's you. They were supposed to, what, treat her like an outcast and be like, oh my God, Calvin would never. JoJo is right. That's your man. As lovely as he treats you and as much as you, and Annie says to her, Annie then explains to her, listen, I don't feel like Calvin asked her, are you single? But maybe the conversation of, because Slee says, he asked her, oh, who are you partnered with here? They were at a gathering at Nonko's house. And his question was, oh, you married to anybody in the room? Like, do you understand? That's a regular chat. It's a regular thing to ask. I'm sorry, but it just is. Right? We're at this gathering. I'm partnered. Other people are partnered. I'm assuming, okay, maybe your partner's here. You may want to introduce me. No. And then Annie says that's what she says Calvin said to her. And I don't know Calvin as well as you do, JoJo. That's your husband. So I can't say what really happened. But yeah. So then JoJo's like, okay, I'm just like trying to have it be, squashed, let bygones be bygones at this point, because I feel like I'm being pushed out of the group for this person. So this is about you. If Slee was the one getting the treatment that you're getting, you would have been fine with it. But you're not feeling like, okay, Sarisha is not like team you. Barkemang, this one. Who's this? Your friend Maria is also like, I don't know what's really going on here. So now you all of a sudden want to play nice. But anyway, girl, you do you. But that's the end of that. Slee goes, oh yeah, oh my God, guys, this episode was so cute to me. It really was. Slee goes bouncing with her kids, like these play areas where they get on like trampolines and bouncy houses and things like that or whatever. She goes with her daughters and they sit down, literally the same kind of template they had here going on with Nonko and Notile. The girls sit down with their mom and she again apologizes for not being in their lives for that stretch and tries to find out where they are emotionally about it, like if it took a toll on them. And it's good to check in with your kids, like even after this chat, because feelings do that, right? One day I'm cool with my dad, and then the next day I'm back to being not so cool with him, because they do that. That's a feeling. So it's good to check in with your kids. She sits down with her girls, and then they let her know that no, like the younger one is not as expressive. The older one is quite the extrovert, and she also sang for us a little bit when we first met Slee in the first episode and stuff. I think it was a Lyra song that she was like singing a bit. And they even let us know that they have a little group with Notilia, because their neighbors Nonko and Slee and stuff, and their girls are friends and stuff. And they ask what's been going on with you and Nonko, because she doesn't come around as much. My godson noticed that I don't come around as much. And nothing was going on between his mom and I. We were both just so busy. But he was sad. Like he thought his mom and I were fighting. Like, Mamulaka, that like, is everything okay? Like kids notice. And he's 6. He's 6 years old. So don't think children are not going to pick up on like the little changes. And I like that she was honest with her kids. Don't lie to them. Don't sugarcoat things. Children need to learn, or these girls are coming into their own. The one is like a teen and the other's preteen. And it's important for kids to see what disagreement looks like, what resolution looks like, what being cordial looks like, all of these things. Or all of this just trying to make things nice, it doesn't work. Oh, everything is fine. Nothing is fine. It's not. And it's okay for it to not be fine, and for you guys to not be affected by this, because we're still grown-ups. You guys have a group, you're friends, you love each other and stuff, and Nonko and me not getting along right now should not get in the way of this. This was a cute little scene and stuff, and you know, they talk a little bit. The little girl says, yeah, some people were making fun of me that you weren't around and stuff. I can imagine that they know that your mom is married off to like this wealthy man and living this, and then can't be in your life and stuff. But it seems like she was not completely not there, because the older one says, no, sometimes you'd pick me up from school and the boys would be like, oh, your mom is so hot, because she's hot, because it's in a crush, you know this. All right. Nonko links up with her mom. Her mom is with her fashion designer. You guys, Nonko's mom loves her fashions, and I am okay with it. Right? Like, it makes her feel good, and I like that. I like a woman who takes pride in how she puts herself together, like, to the end. You know, very Joan Rivers. To the end, right? And I'm wishing her a long life. So that's not to say it's gonna end right here, okay? So she's with her designer and stuff, and they've gone to see a tailor or whatever. And Nonko shows up in the scene, and the mom, they talk about her book and stuff. And Nonko's like, I read your book, and I think it's gonna do well. I think her and her mom are each other's biggest cheerleaders. And in as much as they're parts of their relationships that I just don't find the healthiest, I think Nonko's mom is a gentle parenter. I think her style of parenting is gentle parenting, and I think she's a gentle person, so she does kitty's gloves with Nonko, whereas I'm obviously a raw. And I think maybe I was impatient with her in the last episode in how she was going about accommodating Scara, because she's now in a quiet space with just her and her daughter, and she's able to tell her real truth, which is kind of nice. It's kind of nice that she did it this way. Me, I would have just been like at the table. You see, like how I'm set up is different. It's not wrong, it's just different. Okay, great. And she says to him, as far as I know, I don't think you want to get married again. And he immediately says that he wants to marry and stuff. And she says, Nonko's mom says in the confessions that if he really loves my daughter and that's how he really feels, I feel like he'll pace himself and be patient and wait for her and not amajare into these things, you know. And I agree with that. Cute little scene there with them. Yeah. Maria puts together a little lunch for the girls at like a spot that probably, I don't know. They show up and she's like a little dress-up theme for them. They need to, is it Greek goddess? Yes, they need to show up in a Greek goddess kind of fit. They trickle in and stuff. Everybody's there except for Mbali. Mbali was not in this episode at all, and Maria extended an invitation to her for this gathering, but she didn't show up. We don't know why, because she didn't say. Anyway, everybody's chilling and stuff. I can't tell if Annie was going for like a gladiator kind of look meets Medusa, but which is what Maria says, like, is Annie Medusa? Because I can't make her. You think Greek goddess, you always think white and gold and like flowy stuff. Like, think Angelina Jolie in Troy. Isn't Angelina Jolie in Troy? Yeah, it is. Flowy fabrics and what have you. I need to watch that movie. I know somebody who was obsessed with that movie. Hi, Nate. Obsessed. Anyway, everybody trickles in. I think I said anyway 10 times. I'm sorry, guys. Everyone arrives except from Bali. They play. Oh, and then she stands up and says, just want to celebrate everybody, all that you've been through this year, what you've overcome, and even the accomplishments and stuff. And I would like for us to go around the table and pick somebody and say something nice about them. And then Barkemang Nonko says, oh, JoJo, I think you should pick Slindy. That's Lee, who's also Wendy. They use all her names. And then she's like, oh, we think she should pick whoever she was. And then she does pick Slee. She says to Slee, Yeah, Miss Wendy, I just want us to move on because we're never gonna find each other around this thing. And I just want to come over and give you a hug. Guys, Slee's smile was so genuine. Like, I felt like she's so relieved. Like, oh my God, I can finally show up around these girls and not have my walls up and feel like it's wartime and be guarded. And every time it's rah-rah. Like, I felt her relief in her smile. But it was short-lived because Annie had to fuck shit up real quick. Annie then says, okay, but is this real? Because I like Annie, right? Annie had a one-on-one. JoJo hosted her. She knows where it's coming from. She knows. JoJo literally said to her at the picnic they had at JoJo's, I want to just move past it so we can move on as a group because Slee's not going to come around to my point of view. I'm never going to come around to a point of view. So I'd rather just bury this thing and then let's try to get to know each other, move it. Why is Annie then getting inside and saying, you know what, you are the one person who knew that JoJo is going to propose this truce? Yeah, because if it's not real, then I would rather we don't do this and we just... I also understand wanting for people, but like, I feel like JoJo didn't say... JoJo was clear in that we're not going to find each other. So I'm not sure why Annie felt the need to instigate in this exact moment. Like, you're puzzled a little bit. And then while they're on the point, Nonko says, while we're on this, I would like to know what Owa said to me at your event, the car event that they had that Nonko wasn't at. And she says, no, Slee had said that she's happy for you. And they ran the tape back. And JoJo did go and misrepresent exactly what Slee said and put a little bit of sauce on it. That's not, like, come on, JoJo girl. You know what you did was a little messed up there. You wanted to, like, make things kind of on and on and on. Like, you wanted the thing to keep, like the beef to continue brewing because you still had beef with Slee, and you went and like put a little stank on this when you were telling Nonko so that it can seem like Slee's not happy for her. Slee was literally just like, pace yourself really, because I feel like they're moving a bit too fast. We don't know this person. I'm happy for her as long as she's happy, and if something should happen, then I'll still be there for her. I understand how JoJo took, and then Nonko turns to JoJo and is like, Joe, that's not what you said. Then JoJo says it was a long time ago. It fucking wasn't. It wasn't. It wasn't a long time ago. Y'all love to say that. Hey, apartheid was a long time ago. Now what Slee said a week ago is also a long time ago. Girl, shut up. Like, shut up. It wasn't a long time ago. You know you put a little sauce on it. Okay? And everybody at the table heard the same thing and you heard different. Because you wanted, like, you and your homegirl, your bestie Nonko to continue this beef with this girl, right? Annie, I don't know why Annie feels like Slee needs to audition for a relationship with her. I don't actually get it. Like, who the fuck are you in this exact moment to say to Slee, yeah, I'm just gonna keep my distance from you because this, because that, and I'll figure it out for myself, but like, we're cool, we're this. I really didn't understand. If somebody comes into your space, it's like, now I feel like Annie wants this woman to prove something to her, and I'm not sure what that something is. She ain't did shit to you, not once. The people she's actually, who are alleging that she's done something to, have let it go. You let it go too. Let it go. Let it go. Look what I'll go. Anyway, Sane arrives. Yo! Sane arrives. I don't know what theme she's dressed for, but she arrives with flowers for Maria. This is an ambush. I don't understand. If you know that the girls aren't getting along with this one girl, why is this happening? Why? It's an ambush. I don't care. You know that you saw Sarisha leave Nonko's celibacy whatever thing because this woman arrived, right? Why aren't you doing one-on-ones with these people? In the last episode, you were able to say to Sarisha, I think we need to link up with Joe and hash this out and figure out where she's coming from in terms of Slee. But you couldn't do it in this moment. Like, okay, let me do a one-on-one for Sane and tell whomever it is she said something about, hey, could you come over to mine? I just want to like create a little moment so that you and Sane can hash this out. I think she's a cool chick. This is an ambush, right? We're excited to be here, whatever. And then you have this person whom nobody wants to deal with. Every time she shows up, it's Hiroshima, Nagasaki in the building for no fucking reason. Why is she here? She sits down, Annie goes off. Annie says, you don't know me, man. You don't know me. You're saying I'm sleeping my way to the top and I cannot sit here. I cannot be around you. She gets up, she goes, Sarisha, guys, I drove her here. She came with me. I'm like, no, girl, you're leaving because you also don't want to be around Sane. Just own it. You don't like what she said about your friend. You don't like how she behaved at your event. And yeah, you also happen to be Annie's ride, but you and Annie came together so that if Sane was to show up, you could pull the stunt. Don't think we don't see you. So, I mean, I want your red string and I like you and everything, girl, but I see you. Also, the moment she walked in, the two of them chuckled. Like, they looked at each other and giggled. That to me communicated, oh, we knew. Maria says she's cool with Sane. Sane might show up. So let's go together so that if Sane shows up, we can leave really too. Anyway, they leave. Sane stays. She does some crying thing and JoJo says she feels nothing. Me and JoJo are feeling the same nothingness. The same exact nothingness JoJo is feeling is the same nothingness I'm experiencing. I have no pity for this woman or her tears. She came in thinking that she can drop bombs and stay relevant. She's realizing the group will ice her out. She won't have anybody to film with and that will take away that like Showmax check. And now she needs to make nice, right? She needs to walk it back and try to be nice. She's not even a good actress. She's not nice. Like she's not nice. She doesn't give off good energy. I wouldn't want to be around her. She's trying to get with them and get back cool with them because she's realizing that how she came into the group won't keep her on the show. Her tears are not real to me. Even if they are, I don't care. I'm not moved. But you know Nonko, with zero sense of discernment, is all like, oh my God, girl. Hugging her and they're all like, yeah, let's start over, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, that's what happened. Bye, Anna.